It's the waitingfornextyear.com podcast live from the car edition. Dave Sterling is here. How's it going, sir?
It is great. How are you?
Doing great. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Cavs, and then I want to talk about Caleb Brantley.
Wow. Okay.
The sixth round pick the Browns selected, the guy who...
Let's go lighthearted. LeBron grabs a beer out of the stands, and then a little more serious.
Well, honestly, there's not much to say about the Cavs' Game 1 victory over the Toronto Raptors, other than the Cavs played well and hit their shots. I guess maybe if you're nitpicking, you could say the bench unit did pretty badly.
Outside of Iman Shumpert.
But that
covered
lineup,
wonderfully today on waitingfornextyear.com for all your sporting needs.
Exactly. But that lineup with Deron Williams and Corver and who's the tall guy? Channing Frye.
Yeah, it wasn't the big lead builder that it was against the Pacers.
No, in fact, they were shooting threes, missing, and had no rebounding. The ball was just landing between four Raptors.
I know we're all over hot Kevin Love takes, but it was funny that just every time they're like, all right, let's force it to Kevin Love, and just he would miss shot after shot after shot. Again, overall his numbers came out fine, but it's still funny if you isolate a couple of sections a game, you're like, is this guy good? And then he is. Like, he's proven that he is. But still, like, oh, he's out there for the corner three. Brick. Oh, he's going to try an inside move. Hook shot. Front of the rim. Like, I don't know.
When sometimes I think they leave him hanging out to dry, when they treat him purely like a spot-up three-point shooter, it's a little bit tougher for him, I think, because if he's going to be a spot-up shooter, it's got to be in the right position. He's got to be open. If he's gonna create his own shot, it's not gonna be on the perimeter like that. So Sometimes he gets the ball late in the shot clock where they expect him to create, but he doesn't create out there.
Yeah.
You can bang him down from out there, but somebody's got to create before it gets to him.
Yeah, otherwise they're telegraphing what they're gonna do. We're gonna go inside, or we're gonna try to kick it to him later. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
And that's not a knock on a talented player. It's just playing, you've got to play to the strengths of the people. Late in the shot clock, you want it in Kyrie's hands. Late in the shot clock, you want it in J.R. Smith's hands.
Right.
I'm judging by game one, you want it in Shumpert's hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Shumpert's been the butt of so many Cavaliers jokes, and then he goes and has these moments where the defense, the shooting, and then he dunks the life out of somebody.
Yeah, it's if anybody had the playoff switch, it was him.
Yeah, playoff switch for sure. So what else is there to say? Predictions! How many games? We're not going to do that.
No, and we'd all like to... The biggest thing that I took from it was LeBron cares so little about this matchup that he's willing to do on-court antics during the game by grabbing the beer out of the server's hand. That's how little LeBron thinks of this Raptors team.
Oh, he was certainly feeling himself in the second half of that game.
Was Turban Guy there?
Yes, of course
he was there.
Super fan. I think his jersey number is 95 for whatever reason.
Now, I don't know if Marlon's man is ever coming back.
No, he's not.
Which is good.
Yeah. The Raptors superfan seems like a little more congenial than Marlins man.
Oh, no, I'm a big fan of Raptors superfan.
Marlins man is just a certified ass.
Yeah. I go and make an ass of myself, and then people get mad at me. What a bunch of jerks.
He's on the Pardon My Take podcast all the time.
I am a fan of Ultimate Raptors fan, Turban Guy. He is the best.
Yeah, well, and honestly, I don't think Marlins man maybe should have been mistreated quite the way, but if he doesn't understand, like, that not everybody knows him,
right,
that says more about you.
And also, I don't know that I trust Marlins man's accusations.
Well, I do, because I know Cleveland fans. But,
I know, here's one last take on Marlins man. I know Cleveland fans, but I also know, for the most part, this is very similar to my dog's attitude towards other dogs. They're not going to start it, but if someone starts it, they'll finish it.
Oh, they're going to take it to a 20.
Yeah, exactly.
On a scale of 10.
So they're not going to just... I think most people are going to look at that guy and go, what the hell? But if provoked, they're going to blow that out of the water. So.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, there's there's something kind of satanic about the level of get back that Cleveland fans need to get.
Are capable of.
Oh, yeah. Especially when they get each other going.
Oh, yeah.
But then again, you go to a Browns game, unless it's like a jerky Steelers fan, it doesn't usually get out of control.
No.
So, but when somebody's walking around making it all about them all the time, and wearing a Marlins jersey to an Indians game is something else.
I'm not even offended by the Marlins jersey as much as the visor. Who's wearing visors?
I know nobody who wears visors.
There you go.
So the other thing that I wanted to talk about, which was the hot topic all over sports radio yesterday, is the Browns selecting Caleb Brantley, who I think he was charged with misdemeanor assault for either pushing or punching or somehow.
Yeah, I think there's a witness on each side of the story.
A bar fight and a woman involved. And the Browns made the selection, and Sashi Brown came down and said, well, we don't know if we're going to keep him or not. And so it's in a lot of ways, it's kind of like a perfect move because he covered himself in the same thing. But then I started thinking about it to its its logical conclusion. We know a girl got hurt one way, shape, or form or another. And so now, did Sashi Brown put him in a position where he and the Browns have to legislate between, well, he just pushed her and she got hurt, so that's okay.
Right.
But if he cold-cocked her, no, but he got hit first. And so now, who's making those judgments? How much do they have to explain it? Is there any good way to explain away a 300-pound football player injuring a 120-pound girl?
Well, even beyond the details of that.
Yes.
I talked to one guy at work about this, and I don't know how I feel about it because I was like you. I heard him say, well, we'll either keep him or we won't. But what it really does is send an interesting, odd message. So, to the fans, this guy has always been a Browns fan, and he says, well, they have been preaching for the last, since Sashi's been in charge and Hugh's been there, that, well, we're going after not just people who are good football players, but who are good people and high character guys and stuff like that. And that's one of the great things about Myles Garrett, one of the great things about Jabril Peppers, is that everybody talks about how wonderful they are as men and stuff like that, just beyond football. And then you draft this guy. Like you said, allegations true versus not true. Something happened that he got involved with this fight. Okay, so obviously he's not the type of upstanding citizen you just told me we were after. So it's mixed messages in that direction. And then it's also mixed messages on, well, you guys said you're stockpiling all these draft picks and you want all this ammunition, but then you go and have the possibility of just wasting a draft pick.
Right.
So it kind of speaks for against your character argument and against your...
But you're willing to sacrifice the character argument if the pick is low enough.
Right.
That's the kind of it too. But then there's another part of me, and I know nothing about Caleb Brantley.
Right.
Nothing. But I think there's a difference between somebody making a mistake in a moment, even a really bad one, and somebody showing a pattern of constantly making mistakes.
Yes, I agree with that.
So there's also this idea when you hire somebody like Greg Williams and before that Hugh Jackson that they are going to be the leader of men. They are going to help these volatile young men become mature and professional and handle themselves on and off the field. There's a certain point where somebody's gonna try and rehabilitate this guy. Is it better in the Cowboys' hands, or have we finally built a coaching staff and an organization with player personnel people like Kevin Mack and coaching staff, including the people I named, where who better than us?
Right.
And obviously it takes a certain candidate. Nobody could have rehabilitated Johnny Manziel his first run through the NFL, I don't think.
Right.
And so there's that part of it too, where is there any penalty that's enough, and
well, that's the other thing, and not to get at all political on a very sensitive subject, but is it really the case that if someone has this incident occur, that they really should never be allowed to play football ever again?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that obviously the Bengals got comfortable with Joe Mixon. And I saw that video. Unfortunately, my 7-year-old Ben saw that video during the draft.
Thanks.
Thanks, ESPN. But, the idea is that, not saying that if you serve a year suspension that you're all good, that you've got nothing else to make up. But
the fact that you would never be good again, ever.
But like at a certain point, either punishments are meant to rehabilitate people or they're just meant to enact revenge on behalf of society.
Yeah.
And some guys, punishments won't work. But other guys,
absolutely.
Punishments will work. And so, I don't know. It
is a very sensitive subject.
And this is stuff we can't know. We haven't interviewed them. We haven't talked to them. We haven't sat down with them. And even if we did, I've hired people before and I've been wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and at our company, we've hired some people with checkered pasts, and they've learned from it all.
Yeah.
I know plenty of people who have done some effed up stuff in the past, and nothing like that, but have done crazy, stupid stuff that they would be the first to admit that it was crazy and stupid, and that they know more than anybody that they'd never do anything like that again. And how do you judge that with a guy? They couldn't have spent that much time with the guy before the draft to know. But I don't know. I see both sides.
Yeah, well, and it's very difficult to look at a pick like Caleb Brantley and Sashi Brown and Hugh Jackson and Greg Williams and all the people making these moves and say, well, that was good or that was bad. They've laid the groundwork that they might be able to handle this okay. They also, I think they did a very good job in the handling of Isaiah Crowell's situation last year.
Yeah.
Where they didn't kind of pussyfoot around it and make it okay.
Right.
But they also didn't throw him out.
Yeah, there were tons of Browns fans cut his ass like right after that, and I don't even blame all Browns fans for having that thought. But it's up to the organization to take that and take it through a process where if the kid truly is remorseful, and Isaiah Crowell kind of proved to be truly remorseful and go above and beyond and all this other stuff, like I want people to get better. I don't want to define everybody by their worst moment in life. Well, that's true. And you're in business, you learn the same thing. Sometimes you show better qualities to a customer in the handling of a bad event than you do just providing perfect service all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, we made this mistake. Here's how we're going to fix it. Here's how we're going to take care of it. Here's how we're going to put our whole team into motion to make this right. Shows like Isaiah Crowell. I liked him before the incident. After the way he handled that incident and what he did afterwards, I like him even more. Because it's a person who got caught up in his emotions and then learned from it.
Made a significant mistake.
And then when someone challenged him on it, he didn't just say, oh, F you. He went and talked to some people and went and spent some time with some people.
Donated game checks.
Yeah, and he came out the other side. Like, just you respect him all that much more for the way he handled that terrible situation. So, I don't know. You're right. How do we really have to throw people away? Is it really the best?
Some people.
Well, some people. No, some people. Like, I agree.
I'm pretty sure Greg Hardy's got no place playing football ever.
No,
again.
Absolutely. And like you said, is it a pattern or was it? Again, these situations.
And none of this is excusing it.
No, none of it is.
But then again, I don't know. I think that for certain people, rehabilitation is an option, and the Browns have set it up so that they can possibly handle this the right way, but man, is it treacherous.
It is treacherous. Yeah, for very, very, very treacherous because...
And in that respect, I'm with you. I'm really surprised that they would even attempt this, considering all they've been through. Obviously not the same exact kind of off-the-field things, but it's an off-the-field thing that they're kind of inviting.
Why even bother?
So... All right, that's our Cavs wrap-up. The Cavs play again on Wednesday, and we'll be. I'm trying to do a podcast per Cavs game. It's a little tough to keep up. And when they finished the sweep of Indiana, I wasn't super motivated to talk about the sweep because it was just like, oh, game
what else are you
4.
gonna say? Yeah,
just like the first 3. Let's wait 8 days.
Right.
But we definitely do a lot of Cavs-centric podcasting because I think people do want to hear a little bit about each game.
Absolutely. There's nothing. Yeah, you want to hear coverage that's directly about what you just watched the night before or just before. So I agree.
So thanks for listening, everybody. We'll do it again next time. Talk to you next time. This is the waitingfornextyear.com podcast.